It's been exactly 1 week from today that we took the engine out of the GSX, we tore it down completely, took the block and the head down to the machine shop where they cleaned everything after rod bearing failure. We went ahead and put brand new piston rings and those beautiful R&R aluminum connecting rods, and we assembled the engine last night, and finally we are ready to get the engine installed. Now, I've been working on DSMs for over 10 years, and honestly, I've never done an engine rebuild in less than 1 week. This is by far one of the coolest things that I've ever done. Now, the main reason why I busted my butt every day after work to get this thing done is because Sunday, we are going to be taking the car to import face-off, where we're going to try and run 10.5 at 140 plus miles an hour. Last time we took the car, it did 137 miles an hour at 10.9. I barely made it in the 10 seconds because, well, I kind of suck at shifting, and yeah, that's kind of why. What are you doing? What are you doing? The goal of today's video is to get a startup on the GSX. So hit that like button because it's either gonna start or it's gonna start knocking like crazy. Well, I guess you just gotta stay and watch. So let's put it in. Or fast forward, it doesn't matter. All right, let's do it. For those of you that haven't had a 300 to 400 pound motor and tranny swinging above your head, well, there's a little bit of risks in this. So the hoist is over here. That means one thing. The engine is finally in, guys. We got both motor mounts on. We got the transmission mount and this motor mount here. Now we got to get the front mount and the back mount and the cross member that goes underneath the car. Then after that, we can put in the axles and start bolting up all the miscellaneous. So you guys ever had one of those satisfying moments? So we got the jack on the front mount here to kind of swing the whole engine and tranny this way. Well, check this out. There's a gap right in there. You see this little gap right here? Well, watch this whenever I lower the jack down and how satisfying this is. Ready? It just goes back into place like it's meant to be there. I love when stuff like that happens. On a side note, this is probably one of the most expensive light holders you guys have probably ever seen. How many ugga-duggas for this bolt? That many. Now we gotta stick the shafts inside the hole. Even that's a problem sometimes. Nice. Torque it. So if you guys have a special nut that looks like this, it looks like a castle nut. So it requires a cotter pin. If it does, always use a cotter pin. I've seen so many nuts back off throughout the years because of a simple pin that did not get installed. That took a little bit too long, but we got the crossbar in. All the motor mounts are finally in, so the engine and tranny itself are 100% secured inside the engine bay. Now we're going to be going on to the starter, which is back there, and then probably going with the intake manifold, which we got right there. And we're probably going to hook up all the vacuum lines, all the boost lines, make sure they're not going to be popping off at like 45 pounds of boost. And then the fun's going to happen where we're going to be installing the turbo and all that good stuff. That's my favorite part. since we're down here in the front of the motor, I just wanted to go over real quick. This is the oil filter housing. Now this is off of the Evo 9 that bolts directly to the DSM block. Now the reason why I bought an Evo 9 oil filter housing is because you see these little blue fittings. Now you can actually install an oil cooler. Obviously we had rod bearing failure, so we're not going to be cleaning or using that oil cooler. We're going to be getting a brand new one and flushing out these lines. It's also running a fluid dampener harmonic balancer. Now what these do is it absorbs all the vibrations that's coming from the engine's rotating assembly, and it absorbs it so it doesn't do any damage to the main bearings or the rod bearings. I swear, I spend more time looking for a socket than I do actually working on the car. Now, just so you guys, there's a picture of the RSX and the GST. This is an OG picture that we took probably about 4 years ago. This is where it all started right here. So up next is the GM Saturn Alternator. It uses one wire to power everything, and usually most alternators on the DSMs are always in front right near the exhaust. Well, the problem is I was overheating my alternators all the time, and I was always taking them out at least every 3 months. So with this, it uses a J Racing relocation kit, and it actually puts it in the back of the engine block, which is way back here. But in doing so, well, you got to get rid of your AC. So race car, no AC. So we got the drag intake manifold kind of set up. It's not 100% bolted down, but that's more or less what this monstrosity looks like back here. This thing takes up the whole rear of the engine bay. It's so freaking massive. So next up is the turbocharger and all those piping. So this is the exhaust manifold gasket. This is so we don't got no exhaust leaks. Any exhaust leaks is not a good thing on a turbocharged car. I'm not sure how much this thing weighs, but it's enough. That wasn't so bad. Still heavy. Alright, you guys, so this is where we're at. We got the turbo on, we got the exhaust manifold on, the boost controller line, the shift linkage, we got the wastegates on, the dipstick tube. The intake manifold is just kind of bolted up right now. We got the valve cover on temporary so we don't get nothing inside the engine bay. Now, if you guys kind of look at the time, it is 12:01. Now, that is 12:06 Monday night, where I gotta go to work tomorrow. We are going to start this thing tomorrow, 100%, no ifs, ands, or buts. Remember, a week ago from today, we took the motor out and we completely just disassembled this thing and rebuilt it. And lo and behold, exactly 1 week later, this is where we're at. Here's another transition of from tonight to work tomorrow, just like this. Ready? Why was I so tired last night? It was only 12:06 in the morning. God, freaking get over it, Gabe. As you guys can see, I'm finally back from work. I'm in a really good mood right now because, well, we're almost done and it's Tuesday, so that means it was Taco Tuesday today. And, well, I had some tacos today. Everything's pretty much ready except for the intake manifold and, of course, the baby T case down there. So we're gonna head and put the baby T case back on, put the intake manifold on, put the intercooler piping on, get all this mumbo jumbo wiring, and then we're gonna be starting it. These two lines here, these are for the oil cooler that's right there, but we took off the bumper because we're gonna be replacing that because, well, once you blow a motor, do not reuse your oil cooler because there's no way to actually clean the oil cooler. So anytime you have a motor failure, always replace the oil cooler. And well, ours comes in tomorrow, but for now, we're gonna be bypassing it with one of the oil lines. If you guys remember a couple videos ago, I installed this turbo oil filter. Now, because of this filter, it saved my turbo. This thing was like 40 bucks, totally worth it. Now it comes time to install the Magnus fuel rail. So we're gonna just be very carefully not to make sure that none of these O-rings fall, and we're gonna be setting it down inside there. So let's see, oh wait, bad idea. I should probably use 2 hands. Oh, never mind. Dang, we're good. So we're about 90% there. We're filling it up with oil, we're filling it up with the transmission fluid, which is the MT90 fluid from Redline. We're filling it up with coolant, and if you guys noticed, well, that's just there temporary. I'm not that guy. I'm just doing this because if you look down here, we're temporarily bypassing the oil cooler because, well, we ordered an oil cooler, but it's not in yet. It's gonna be in Wednesday, which is tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna be replacing the oil cooler and we can put the exhaust back to normal. So, but we gotta start it. So we're gonna be using regular conventional 1040. Now this oil you can pick up at Walmart for like $12. You don't need to run any expensive oil for a motor break-in. Honestly, the first 50 miles you're gonna be replacing the oil regardless, so it doesn't really matter. So before starting the car, we're gonna be priming the oil system. And in order to do that, we're gonna be cranking the vehicle without the spark plugs inside the cylinders, and we're gonna be disconnecting the injectors so it'll just sit there and crank. While it's doing that, it should build up oil pressure. And once it builds up oil pressure, then we should be okay to go ahead and start it. Now once again, I do apologize for this monstrosity sticking out. It's something I don't do, but remember, just for startup, it's going to be looking like this. So we have the small battery on the charger. Hopefully it's charged up enough where we can go ahead and start this. Even though it's super tiny, it pushes out about 550 cold cranking amps, which is more than enough to start the Ford G63. Even though we're just building up oil pressure, it's extremely scary for this. So we're just going to crank it, build up oil pressure. When we verified it, then we're going to start it. So let's go ahead and do that. We got oil pressure, boys. That looks good to me. So we're gonna put the spark plugs back in and then we're gonna start it. One for you, one for you. So the suspense is killing me. Honestly, when you do something like this, tear it completely down and then rebuild it, there's always a possibility of something bad happening. So it may make a little bit of noise because we bled down the lifter. So if it starts making a really loud knocking noise, I wanna say it's just the lifters. We're only gonna be running it for about 15 seconds just because of one thing. It's 10 o'clock at night, and well, it's a Tuesday night, and we have neighbors. We live in a tiny cul-de-sac. So before we start this, if you guys haven't seen the rest of the videos of all of our rebuilds and uploads, I suggest watching it now because it just makes this moment a lot more special. So here it goes. So this is the first real startup of my aluminum rod Ford G63 2.0. We built it in less than 1 week, and this is the first startup. So, well, that's it. Let's do this. It's gonna be a little loud. All right. Okay, we're good. Yell at me if there's like oil spilling out like crazy. Started. I didn't hear no rod noise, so that sounds good to me. Yes. Oh, so it's crazy because we still have 91 octane in here. We have about 3/4 of 91 octane, but I forgot that there's about 1/4 of race fuel of C16. So the whole garage it's burning my eyes because it smells so good, but it burns your eyes. Well, that was it, boys. We did it. We did it in 1 week and 1 day. Totally tore this thing apart. We rebuilt it, cleaned it, put it all back together, and it started up the first time. Come on. Oh, that's so cool. All right, guys. Just like that, that's going to end today's video 100%. I'm so happy. Next time, so the next video, we're going to be test driving it. We should have the regular exhaust on. It's not going to look like that, but we're going to be test driving it and hopefully putting on some miles, maybe even do some boosted pulls, maybe. So if you guys enjoyed what you saw right now, go ahead and smash the subscribe button and don't forget to like it because remember, we did it in a week and 1 day. And that means that we're going to make it to IFO, which is in less than 5 days. So we have 5 days to get this motor broken in, tuned, and we should be running our goal, which is a 10.5 at 140 plus miles an hour at the 1/4 mile. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you later.